The cause of the crop circle phenomena has been widely debated over the years. They've shown up in numerous places around the world over time, but the densest concentration has always seemed to be in England, and most notably near sites of historical interest like Stonehenge, for example. They've been attributed over the years to being caused by many things, from tornadoes, ball lightning, cymatics, which is the geometric shape of sound frequencies, ion plasma ejections, electromagnetic hydrodynamic plasma vortexes, and of course, extraterrestrials. And as you're probably aware, that's one of the more popular theories of how crop circles are made. Some people have claimed to even see UFOs come down and make crop circles before their eyes. And some crop circles seem to be messages or code written from those who made it. Back in 2009, there were also circles showing up in poppy fields in Tasmania, but that just turned out to be caused by the wallabies getting high from the poppies, and then they'd go continuously around in circles before crashing out. Crop circles have been increasingly observed and photographed since the 1950s. There are some accounts from earlier sightings, and only a few photographs available online, but to me most look crude and probably not what we'd recognise as a true crop circle today. But of course, everyone didn't have cameras back then, and aviation wasn't as plentiful as it has been in recent decades. Many people seem to attribute The Mowing Devil, a pamphlet from the year 1678, as possibly being the first recorded case of a crop circle. However, it talks of stalks being cut, not bent, and it also sounds like the whole field was mowed, and no patterns or shapes were described in the transcription, so I personally don't believe it was a crop circle that's being described. You might be familiar with the story from 1991, where Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley came forward and claimed to start the crop circle phenomena in 1978. And in an interview at the time, they explained why they apparently started it.
During their time in Australia, there was a report in their newspapers of a circular depression in a grass field in Queensland, and they immediately called it a UFO nest. In other words, it was where a UFO had landed. I've always been a bit interested in UFOs and sightings and that sort of thing, but when I came home in '66, I met Dave, who was a fellow artist, and we used to go venture out on Friday evenings and have a chat about watercolours and things and have a pint of beer. And one evening, summer evening, we saw a cornfield, and I remarked to him about this. And I said, why don't we put a circular depression in this cornfield, the same as they had out in Australia? I said, the UFO Society here, which was at its height at the time, Warminster especially, I said, they will probably think that it is a UFO that had landed.
Bauer and Chorley continued to demonstrate for the public how they created crop circles. They used a plank of wood, rope and a baseball cap fitted with a loop of wire to help them walk straight. Some people still maintain as well that their circles were inferior to true crop circles. Since they came forward though, the designs of crop circles have become more numerous and complex over the years, still to today, which suggests that waves of crop circle artists and their skills have grown over time, some reportedly working in teams of a dozen or more also. In 1992 there was a crop circle making competition held with a prize of £3,000. It was funded partly by the Arthur Koestler Foundation, and the winners were 3 helicopter engineers who used rope, PVC pipe, a wooden plank, string, a telescopic device and 2 step ladders. One of the organisers, Rupert Sheldrake, also wrote after that the experiment was conclusive. Humans could indeed make all the features of state-of-the-art crop formations of that time. 11 of the 12 teams made more or less impressive formations that followed the set design. The BBC also held a competition over a decade later in 2003, which again yielded quite impressive results. Around that time also, researcher Jeremy Northcote looked at all the documented crop circles from 2002, and he showed that they tend to appear near roads, in areas of medium to dense population, and near cultural sites such as Silbury Hill and Stonehenge, as I mentioned earlier. The point being that the locations are easily accessible and close to roads usually. Another independent study conducted by Glenn Broughton and Steve Page also seemed to show an apparent correlation between crop circles showing up on aquifer regions and on chalk deposits. There are still certain mysteries about the so-called genuine crop circles though, which can apparently be distinguished from man-made circles upon examination. They are reported to have electromagnetic properties and radiation levels a bit higher than the surrounding area usually. People have even reported electronics malfunctioning, cameras showing artifacts or shutting off completely and things of that nature. It also appears that the stalks of the flattened crops are a telltale sign of a genuine circle, as they are all bent over, not broken, and continue to grow, whereas pressing crops using physical or mechanical means leads to invariably broken stalks, which is also apparently evident when examining a site. Also, samples taken show a change in the plant nodes, where they either become stretched or blown out, like as if they've been heated. William Levengood was one of the researchers who was looking at these, and he said that he could get the same sort of result as the blown out nodes by microwaving them for 30 seconds. He ended up putting a small research team together to carry on the research after that as well. Currently, the only explanation that team has theorised is that the circles could be created by ejected ion plasma vortices in the Earth's ionosphere which rotate in the Earth's magnetic field. Obviously, this sounds a bit out there, but something like that may possibly explain a small percentage of the simple single circles that have appeared over time. I've been into mysterious and ancient topics most of my life. Even when I was in university back in 2008, I did a PowerPoint presentation on the 3D geometric shape of sound waves, and I was hesitant, but during my research back then I noticed that some cymatic patterns matched some crop circle designs, and I included that in my presentation as a possible correlation between crop circles and vibrational energy, which ended up being the only thing anybody asked questions about after. And as I'm not even sure or aware if it's possible for a device or energy to pulse a vibration to leave an imprint like a crop circle, then it's still up in the air, I guess. I no longer think that is the case, but it's still an interesting idea nonetheless, and I've seen a few videos and articles of people who are also asking the same question over time, so I won't go any deeper into it for now. So to conclude, it appears to me that most crop circles are man-made, probably as little as 95% of them at least, maybe more, but there is still that small percentage that remains unexplained and will continue to raise questions for years to come. What do you think? Do you have a different explanation from the ones that I mentioned? I'd love to hear your thoughts, as this has always fascinated me since I was a kid and still does to today. Well, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, as I'll be covering a wide range of topics and locations. Take care of yourselves out there.
Always walk up track lines so we don't leave walk marks through the crop. As you can see, the sticks that we use with white tips so they can be seen at night. Always got to remember to count these up when you leave a circle so that you don't leave any visible traces of humans. Pull your tape out to the distances marked on your diagram. And this sideways stepping we often call a foot line or a foot stomp. It's often easier to use your board forwards in the stomping fashion than it is to walk sideways, which is very tiring.
Sorry, yep.
And this design uses a crosshatch style, which means there's a lot of lines intersecting and cutting across each other, and you've got to decide which of the bits you've got to flatten, which of the bits are left standing. And this little bit demonstrates how you can actually curve around with your board and introduce different flows to the lay. It stops the seed heads pushing up against the flat wall that you want to create. And this is the photo of the finished article, which I was quite pleased with and appeared in the News of the World Sunday magazine supplement.